Hi, I'm Brandon Wenzel. I'm your friend to the end. Wanna play? That's my special intro for the thing. But anyway, folks, this is a super simple format. I'm going to go over there, I'm going to try out food and or drink items for you. Whilst I'm doing so, I'm yammer on about it for a bit. Whilst I'm doing all that, I'm inside my truck. Whilst I'm doing all that, folks, I'm wearing a super cool shirt. Folks, when I wear super cool shirts, I always like to highlight the super cool shirt. What super cool shirt am I wearing for you today? Happens to be my, boom, my 12 Stone shirt. Yeah, 12 Stones. But what's 12 Stones? 12 Stones is a band. They're kind of an alternative hard rock, sort of new metal-ish band. They had their run during sort of like the early 2000s era and stuff like that. They're kind of on the fringes of what you consider new metal, but like, yeah, they had a song or two where I was like, okay. But they're probably best known for the fact that their lead singer, he'd gone over there, he'd worked with the band Evanescence. He was the guest vocalist on their hugely successful song, Bring Me to Life. So he was the Wake Me Up guy, if you've ever heard that song. Wake Me Up! That guy. But yeah, he actually had his own band, and, they were doing their own things and having their own run at the same time. I became aware of their stuff really just within the last couple years. I picked up one of their CDs at random, and, it turned out they were pretty decent. I actually got to see them perform live several months ago at the time I'm doing this, and it was a blast, man. Like, the show was really good. If you don't believe me, I don't know why you wouldn't, but actually videos of their performance I attended, those videos are on my channel in case maybe you want to check them out. If nothing else, I'd be more than happy to point you in the right direction as far as their music is concerned, because 12 Stones are pretty fucking badass, man. I'm just saying. But anyway, what am I trying for you today, folks? What are we doing here? Why did I forego my normal intro for a wacky tie-in intro? Well, folks, that's because I'm reviewing something that has some interesting branding, and I'm Brandon, so it kind of works. Boom! It's Fanta, but it's not just any Fanta. It's Fanta Chucky's Punch flavor. Yes? I mean, admittedly, we're moving into the fall season. It's, at the time I'm doing this, only the very beginning of September, so we're not that close to Halloween yet, but Halloween is, as Christmas has pushed back into November, Halloween has pushed back into September. So now basically the end of August, we start getting all the Halloween stuff. I'm not mad at it. But yeah, so that's why I did the special intro, because, of course, the tie-in with Chucky. Interesting Brandon Wenzel fun fact. I grew up on horror movies. My mom was maybe not the most responsible adult in the world when it came to her son's viewing options. But I went with it, and I loved them. And by and large, I just ran with them. The one that fucked me up real hard, though, was the first Child's Play. As a little kid, the idea of my toys coming to life and killing me just ruined me. Like, literally for, at least a few years, I couldn't sleep without the lights on. But, fine now, and I even enjoy the movies, so let's get a thing for a thing. It looks like this. I'm just gonna go, ha 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 ha! I can't do quite as good an evil laugh as Brad Dourif, but, it's not bad, I don't think. Why Fanta teamed up, I have no idea, man. It's a weird team up, but I like fruit punch soda. Let's give it a go. That's not bad. It's got some tanginess to it. Like, a good fruit punch should not just be sweet. You want it to be sweet, you want it to be fruity, but it should also have some bite to it. Should have some tanginess. You get a little contrast in terms of the flavor. This has a little bit of that. One of my friends went over there and he tried it, and he was telling me, he said it reminded him a little bit of Sweet Tarts. I don't eat Sweet Tarts very often, so, I'm not the best person to gauge off of that. It doesn't taste like what I remember Sweet Tarts tasting like, but I haven't had Sweet Tarts since I was very small, so not a big tart person. But this works out pretty nicely. It's got a nice taste to it, nice vibe. It's Fanta. Fanta tends to do a good job. I will say I would have expected more from Fanta because like it's a perfectly capable fruit punch soda, but I tend to hold Fanta to a little higher standards. Like not all of their flavors hit exactly for me, but like I like orange Fanta a lot. Pineapple Fanta is one of my favorite favorite pineapple sodas. Grape Fanta I really like too. So this one, although it's not bad, like for me, the gold standard when it comes to fruit punch sodas is Tahitian Treat. I haven't found anything that even really comes that close to that, in my opinion. Like that is the perfect mix of flavors that I want. This is respectable, but while it does have some contrast, it doesn't have a lot. There isn't a lot of complexity to it. The flavor itself is nice and like it is fairly vivid, but I wouldn't say it's that bold. And like I said, it really doesn't have much going on to it besides a little contrast. I think if it had greater contrast to go off of, or conversely, if it had been a more bold fruit punch flavor, it would be a little bit more memorable for me. As is, it's tasty. I'm not mad at it, but especially you got a freaking horror movie icon in the branding. I really would have hoped for something a little bit more spectacular. It's not bad. I'm not shitting on it, but it's like, man, in my head I was like, this is, it's Fanta. They're teaming up with, with the whole Child's Play thing. Like, this is gonna be some killer fruit punch, right? But it is decent. It's not overly sweet. The fruitiness of it is nice. It's just, yeah, everything about it is decent. It works well enough, but it's just nothing all that memorable or spectacular for me. It's not bad, but again, I think it could have been better. And again, from Fanta, I would have liked to have seen a better showing. Two questions have to be asked though. Would I get it again? Would I recommend it? Yes and yes. At the end of the day, well, I don't think it holds a candle to Tahitian Treat. It's still a pretty solid fruit punch soda. I've had a lot of different fruit punch sodas. In fact, at one point, I was going to do a fruit punch soda special and just try a bunch of them. But then I ended up just drinking them because I was thirsty. But I've had a lot of fruit punch sodas, and this one for me, it would be. Again, it's not up there with Tahitian Treat, but like if Tahitian Treat is my current top, I'd say it's like in the tier right below that. Like the flavors are good. It's not overly sweet. There's no like funky aftertaste or anything. It works well enough. It's not to the extent that I would have liked. I think you could do way better with it, but it's inoffensive. The flavors are okay for what they are. It's not bad. If I'm recommending it though, I'm not going to go over there and give it like a hugely, like a big resounding recommendation, but excuse me, I do think it's pretty tasty overall, and I honestly think that it probably is something where mixing the flavors the way they did, they probably tried to make it as available for people as possible, right? As many people as possible. So like the flavors aren't going to hit too hard in any one direction. It's just a good tasting fruit punch soda. If I were ranking it, in terms of the Child's Play movies, it wouldn't be as good as any of the original trilogy. Definitely not. The Tahitian Treat is the original Child's Play. That's the best one by far. But like, I don't know, maybe like Bride of Chucky. Bride of Chucky was still pretty good. It's not as bad as like the stuff that kind of came later. But Bride of Chucky, I think we can all agree, is pretty solid. This is the Bride of Chucky of fruit punch sodas. It's pretty solid. It does what it needs to do. It's maybe not quite as good as the best stuff, but it's in the mix. 5 things before I get out of here. Have yourself a great rest of your day, spectacular rest of your week, monumental rest of your month, stupendous rest of your year. Folks, go over there have yourselves a truly Child's Play 1-tastic rest of your life. Because that one is still, to this day, I feel like a very iconic horror movie. Before it, like, you know, became the thing that it eventually became, it, like, that is just a solid, still scary as shit horror movie, in my opinion. Final two things. Number one, try to bring some positivity into the world. It's not always possible. It is, however, always appreciated. But what do you do if you can't do it all the time? I know I can't do it all the time. Here's what you're going to do, folks. You're going to try not to be an asshole. Folks, not always the easiest thing in the world to not be an asshole. Trust me. I know it. I live it. I'm out there every day with you in it. Life can be stressful and frustrating and just bullshit sometimes, folks. When we find ourselves in situations where we have to deal with said bullshit, it's important we go over there whenever possible. Take a step back, try to mitigate the level of assholishness in our lives, hopefully do better for ourselves and for those around us. Very final thing, folks, do the thing. Whatever the thing is for you, that's what I want you to go out and do. Folks, do you ever have a horror movie that scared the shit out of you? Like I said, for me, Child's Play was the one that really hit. My dad was so mad at my mom after that whole thing. He's like, I'm going to have to deal with this shit for years now because of your poor decision making. To be fair, my dad took me out to Terminator 2 when I was like 4 or 5 years old or whatever it was. So like, he did the same kind of stuff. Just none of the stuff that he showed me freaked me out that bad. But what about you? Is there a specific horror movie or any type of movie that just really hit you in some way? Anyway.